S'mores cookies. The traditional combination of graham crackers, marshmallows, and chocolate warmed by a fire is hard to beat. But the cookie version just might come out on top. S'mores cookies contain a ton of your favorite cookie ingredients. These are the ultimate summer cookies, incredibly soft and chewy chocolate chip cookies that are stuffed with marshmallows, graham crackers, and melted chocolate. They contain everything needed to help satisfy even the biggest sweet tooth, but the dough is soft and chewy and bakes up perfectly. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Cookie and today I'm going to make the perfect s'mores cookies. This recipe is something you might have been looking for. So are you ready to melt those marshmallows on your cookies? Let's get started then. One of my all-time favorite desserts is the s'more. Who can resist the combination of graham crackers, melted chocolate, and gooey marshmallows? These s'more cookies are so delicious that I believe they might even surpass the real s'mores in quality. They're incredibly simple to make, packed with marshmallows, chocolate, and graham crackers. I made the choice to use my all-time favorite sugar cookie-based dough for these cookies. I adore this dough because it's soft, chewy, and just right buttery, and it works so well with all kinds of add-ins. Making a large batch and dividing it up allows you to create a variety of cookies. Let's get started with our recipe now. These are all the ingredients you need for these cookies. Ingredients. The first, most important ingredient is butter. You'll need 2.5 sticks, which makes up to 248 grams of unsalted butter. Make sure your butter is at room temperature so it perfectly creams out with your sugar and gives a beautiful, nice texture. Next, we will also need 2 types of sugar. If you watched other recipes, you might have an idea that for this classic cookie dough, I use a combination of both granulated sugar and brown sugar. For this recipe, we'll be using equal amounts of both. So we have set aside 3/4 cup, which makes 150 grams of granulated sugar, and the same quantity of light brown sugar. Then we will also use 2 large eggs. Make sure they are at room temperature and not refrigerated. I will be using some flavorings as well, so 1 teaspoon or 5 milliliters of vanilla extract will be required. Then comes the all-purpose flour. This recipe requires 2.5 cups or 313 grams of all-purpose flour. Next, we will need 1 teaspoon each of baking powder and baking soda, and some salt for extra flavoring. I will be using just 1 teaspoon of it. Then for these cookies, I prefer using milk chocolate chips. You can use any of your choices, it's completely up to you. 2 cups of milk chocolate chips will be enough. Then, my favorite ingredient, the graham crackers. We will use 1 cup of chopped graham crackers. And lastly, for our cookie dough, we will need the most famous ingredient of the recipe, which is marshmallows. I will be using 1 cup of mini marshmallows that are cut in half. Now for the cookie topping, I will be using 1 cup chopped graham crackers, 1 cup mini marshmallows cut in half, 1 cup chocolate bar chopped. Method. Now, let's start the mixing process. The equipment I'll be using is a mixer, a large bowl, a spatula, and lastly a whisk. Now before we start mixing, I'll just preheat the oven to 375 degrees. Now, grab a large mixing bowl, and we're going to start by adding our butter to our bowl. Next, we're going to add our granulated sugar to our butter, and we're going to go ahead and cream that together. Let's mix it up. Next, we're going to add light brown sugar to our mix. Let's mix it up. Finally, we're going to whisk everything together. Now that the butter and both sugars are thoroughly combined, I'm going to use my spatula to scrape down the sides of the bowl. Let's mix it up. Next, we're going to add the eggs to the cookie dough. I like to crack my eggs into a separate bowl so that if an egg is bad or the shell falls in, it falls into that bowl rather than the cookie dough. I'm going to go ahead and mix 1 egg first. Let's mix it together well. And now that I'm ready for my second egg, let's add it to the cookie dough and mix it up. Then, let's add our vanilla and mix it up. Finally, let's scrape down the sides of our bowl to ensure that everything is well incorporated, and then we also get to the bottom of the bowl and move the spatula upwards. Next, we'll proceed to add the salt, baking soda, baking powder, and flour to the mixture. Now, mix, mix, mix. After whisking everything together, we'll proceed to add our flour 1 small handful at a time. We'll add a little more, stir it up, and then add the remaining flour to our bowl. After we finish mixing, it's time to get ready to fold in the chocolate chips, graham crackers, and marshmallows. So here goes, all 3 yummy ingredients, and we'll just keep folding until they are completely folded in the dough. I'm going to scoop up my cookie dough with an ice cream scoop, which is about 5 tablespoons, and spread it out on my parchment-lined baking sheet about 2 inches apart. To ensure that my cookies bake in the oven and have the ideal shape, I'm going to place my thumb on top of each of my cookies to ensure they bake perfectly and maintain their shape. Next, I'll chill them in the refrigerator for 30 minutes to prevent them from spreading during baking. At this point, we're ready to bake our cookies for 10 minutes. As soon as our cookies come out of the oven, they are ready to be topped with our graham crackers, marshmallows, and Hershey bars. I will begin by placing our graham crackers on top of each cookie and gently pressing them into our cookies. Next, I'll add our Hershey bar on top of each cookie, and then I'll also add the marshmallows. To give my cookies the authentic campfire feel, I'm going to use my torch to toast the tops of my cookies. Now that they have baked, we can transfer the cookies to a cooling rack to finish cooling. It's time to taste our delectable treat. Smells so yummy and looks incredible. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed watching the video, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel on your way out. Keep watching for more cookie recipes. Happy baking!